Now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. Today's package is a mixed grill of politics and development in the Niger Delta. And we kickstart with a special report on the intrigues and controversies surrounding the September 19, 2020 governorship election in Edo State. Moving on, we'll close in on the current status of the Niger Delta Development Commission's new corporate headquarters project sited in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. We will, in the course of the program, take a look at the efforts being made by the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs to ensure compliance with President Muhammadu Buhari's directive on a speedy completion of the East-West Road reconstruction project. And finally, into this package, we bring you reactions to a bill for the repeal of the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act 2010. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, determined to make a difference.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Some political commentators have urged the electorate in Edo State to use the power of their votes to dismantle forces of political tyranny and enthrone good governance in the state. The call was made in reaction to Governor Godwin Obaseki's recent resignation of his membership of the All Progressives Congress (APC) to contest the forthcoming Edo State governorship election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Correspondent Tekena Miofori has details.
On Monday, June 1, 2020, embattled Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki visited President Muhammadu Buhari to garner support in his re-election bid. After a closed-door meeting with the president, Governor Obaseki spoke to State House correspondents.
Well, I came to see Mr. President to formally inform him of my desire and intention to seek re-election as Governor of Edo State on the platform of APC.
The presidential visit was apparently to get a soft landing to clinch the APC governorship ticket in Edo State, having fallen out with his erstwhile political benefactor Adams Oshomole. As things turned out, no one, not even the president, could stop Oshomole from taking his pound of flesh on his estranged political godson. Of the 6 aspirants screened in preparation for the June 22 APC governorship primary election, 3, including Governor Obaseki, were found ineligible to fly the party's flag in the September 19 Edo governorship election. Obaseki's disqualification was attributed to inconsistencies discovered in his educational certificates.
Governor Godwin Nogegase Obaseki is disqualified again for reasons that were well stated in both the appeal committee report and the additional information supplied by the appeal committee.
Trounced by this development, Obaseki paid a second visit to the seat of power in Abuja. It was a futile attempt to seek redress from what was clearly an orchestrated plot to deny him the APC ticket to contest the forthcoming governorship election in Edo State. Governor Obaseki's alma mater, the University of Ibadan, had affirmed that his credentials were authentic, but his party, bent on getting him out of the way in the governorship race, went ahead to slam him with a suspension.
Someone who hasn't gone to school, who doesn't have certificates himself, will not even know and understand what inconsistencies in certificates are. So that's the starting point. What is the inconsistency? It was just to look for an excuse to take whatever decision he wants to take. And it's really sad that the party structure today gives him that sort of authority without any checks. And that is dangerous for any system or any institution.
It is an open secret that Obaseki's travails in the APC were directly linked to a protracted disagreement with Oshomole, the suspended national chairman of the APC, over control and distribution of political resources in Edo State. Against the wish of Oshomole, who was instrumental to his election in 2016, Obaseki reportedly became his own man and went about dismantling political structures erected by his predecessor in office, an action which eventually cost him the APC ticket in the September 19 governorship election. Determined to avoid the Akinwumi Ambode treatment in Edo State, Governor Obaseki decided to seek refuge under the umbrella of the People's Democratic Party. After consultations with Governors Nyesom Wike and Udom Emmanuel, the Edo State Governor last week formally declared for the PDP.
And I'm prepared to provide leadership that will not only put PDP in office in Edo State, but as the ruling party in Edo State, we will make sure that the level of progress, the level of growth, and the level of participation in the political system by our people is unrivaled in this country.
It's going to be a plus to the PDP. He has been able to convince 18 chairmen, and so many members of his cabinet has been moved down to this same PDP. So, and they also have 2 Senate members. So I think they can pull their force together.
The most important thing is him actualizing his dream and then letting the whole world know that what Adams Oshomole and his kangaroo, committee that screened him, just to prove them wrong.
Highly revered Chairman Edo State Council of Traditional Rulers, the Omonobanedo, Oba Eware II, who had earlier sought intervention of President Buhari at the commencement of the crisis between Oshomole and Obaseki, has called for a level playing field for all contestants. In a recent statement issued from his palace, the Benin monarch had also called for an end to the Godfather syndrome and imposition of candidates in Edo elections. Reacting to the current scenario in Edo State, political commentators have also called on the voting masses to express their disapproval of exclusionary politics by voting to allow democracy triumph in Edo State.
It behoves on the Edo people, based on the trust already gained, to follow him to anywhere. For me, is hashtag Edo people follow Obaseki wherever he goes. The era of godfatherism should come to an end. It is not about Obaseki today or about Oshomole, today, but it's about stopping what is stopping Nigeria's constitutional democracy from, evolving to the expectations of Nigerians.
For those who are particularly crossed with Oshomole over his role in denying Governor Obaseki the APC ticket, his suspension as national chairman of the party should serve to remind him that political power and influence are not the exclusive preserve of any single individual.
Oshomole is not a character to be saddled with that, responsibility of a political party chairman at the national level. From when him, assumed duty or head swear as the national party, chairman of the party, you will see that the party has not actually fared very well. It has been from one controversy to another. Just to prove one particular point, that no man is God unto himself, that God rules in the affairs of men.
In the weeks and months ahead, the ongoing political drama will definitely witness more intriguing acts and scenes that will eventually climax on September 19, 2020, which is the scheduled date for the Edo governorship election. Admittedly, the intrigues and controversies surrounding the governorship race leave most spectators in sheer suspense. It, however, appears only time will tell who is the most formidable contestant in the Edo governorship race.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Interim management of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) says the project for the construction of the Commission's corporate headquarters in Port Harcourt is on course and will be commissioned in no distant time. Acting Managing Director of the NDDC, Professor Keme Bradikumo Pandey, gave the assurance recently at a media parley in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Chika Bodozi tells us more.
Professor Ponde and other top officials of the NDDC recently took journalists on an inspection tour of the Commission's corporate headquarters in Port Harcourt. Contrary to claims in the media that it was another white elephant project awarded by the NDDC, our crew discovered that the Commission's corporate headquarters in Port Harcourt was nearing completion and almost ready for use. Professor Ponde, who had already relocated to the Commission's new corporate headquarters, attributed the significant progress achieved so far to the support of President Muhammadu Buhari and Minister for Niger Delta Affairs, Senator GRADUAL AKPABIO.
This has been made possible by the support of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, the untiring efforts of the Minister of the Niger Delta, Senator GRADUAL AKPABIO. He's been a minister for less than 1 year, and he took this headquarters building, the completion, as a key project. It's a cumulative effort that has led to this day. Give all the glory to God.
Contract for the construction of a corporate headquarters of the NDDC was awarded almost 3 decades ago by the defunct Oil Mineral Producing Areas Development Commission, OMPADEC, which was replaced by the NDDC through an Act of Parliament in the year 2000. Construction work commenced on site in 2006, but the project failed to see the light of day on account of the Commission's poor project management culture. Under the NDDC, it was re-awarded several times but could not be completed on account of delayed payments and contractors' inability to meet approved specifications. On assumption of office in 2019, Senator AKPABIO decided to conclude all previous contractual agreements and took further steps to revive the project. At the moment, the project is at its conclusion stage and will be ready for commissioning in the shortest time possible.
Pictures were posted and somebody said it was Photoshop. I believe that our presence here will put a stop to a lot of unnecessary debates on social media. All things being given, we believe that this place will be commissioned in the shortest possible time. Our presence here is already showing you that commissioning is very round the corner.
Always willing to give account of its stewardship, the Professor Ponde-led interim management of the NDDC recently fielded questions from the Niger Delta youth movement on the status of the Commission's corporate headquarters project. At a recent meeting with Niger Delta youth leaders, Professor Ponde and his team were taken to task on how the Commission's funds had been appropriated since their appointment in February this year. The youth specifically demanded clarifications on a contract awarded in April 2020 for an emergency supply and delivery of medical equipment to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as an alleged misappropriation of 49 billion naira by the Commission's interim management.
We deem it fit that if an allegation is being made, that there should be need for clarification, there should be need for us to be here today to know exactly what is actually happening, because we see this as a commonwealth and we would not allow it to be used as a conduit pipe to siphon money that belongs to the entire Niger Delta region.
Professor Ponde, in his response, maintained that apart from the supply and delivery of medical equipment awarded with approval from the presidency, his team had not awarded any other contract since its inception in February this year. The NDDC boss restated his unwavering commitment to the ongoing forensic audit of the Commission as ordered by President Buhari in September 2019.
There are a lot of things that have gone wrong, which necessitated the president to accede to the request by the governors for a forensic audit. You cannot continue doing things the same way and expect results. We need to find out what are these problems, and these things need to be corrected. The recommendations have to be implemented. People have to refund monies, or people have to go and complete projects, and the entire Niger Delta region will benefit from that.
The Niger Delta Development Commission was established some 20 years ago in response to the clamor for even and rapid development in Nigeria's oil-rich region. Its transformation under the Buhari government is to reposition it to deliver on its mandate after many years of maladministration and mismanagement of the intervention agency.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And now on to the East-West Road project. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has again met with contractors handling sections 1 to 4 of the East-West Road reconstruction project. At the recent meeting in Abuja, Senator Akpabio underscored the need for contractors to deliver the project at scheduled time without compromising quality in line with the directives of President Muhammadu Buhari. Correspondent Lovely Ofigo has the report.
President Buhari recently released about 20 billion naira to the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority (NSIA) for the rehabilitation of sections 1 to 4 of the East-West Road. Following the release of funds, the Honourable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, held a meeting with the NSIA and contractors handling the East-West Road project to facilitate payments and resumption of work on the road. The Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, which deals more in commercial investments projects, had insisted that in order for it to recoup its investments, Niger Deltans and other motorists on the road will pay certain sums every time they ply the road. But Senator Akpabio disagreed that tolling the East-West Road was not in the best economic interest of road users.
This is more like a social project that is meant to address the restiveness in the Niger Delta region. Of course, you know the importance of the region to the economy of the nation, and also address the deficit in the infrastructure of the region. And of course, the completion of the road will help a lot in even assisting the oil industry in terms of moving goods and facilities that will facilitate oil production and of course movement within the area, and will boost economic life of the people.
Consequently, work could not resume on the project between March and June this year, when the presidency approved Senator Akpabio's request for transfer of the project funds from the NSIA to Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. The ministry immediately directed contractors to carry out remedial works on badly damaged spots at Kayama and Mbiama to alleviate the sufferings of road users. Upon commencement of remedial works on the very bad portions of the road, the contractors were invited to Abuja to meet with Senator Akpabio and other top officials of the Niger Delta Ministry with a charge to deliver the East-West Road reconstruction project by the end of 2021, as President Buhari announced in his June 12 Democracy Day national broadcast.
The funding of Section 1 to 4 of the East-West Road shall be pursued with a view to completing the project by the end of 2021.
What that means is that you have the leverage to continue your construction immediately, remobilize back to site, and complete the various sections that you have, and be able to deliver this project by the end of 2021. And I believe it's realizable.
Until 2018, when President Muhammadu Buhari transferred the fund of the East-West Road project to the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund (PIDF), the project had been stalled due to paucity of funds. Senator Akpabio therefore urged contractors to combine speed and quality in the reconstruction of the East-West Road, which will go down in history as one of the legacies of President Buhari.
So I want to implore you to mobilize back to site before you exhaust the amount we are talking about. As you produce your IPCs, the federal government will do its best to make money available from any source that is, from any legitimate source, in order to ensure that we bring this, the history of this road to an end.
The contract for the East-West Road reconstruction project, awarded in 2006, was to be completed by 2010. Its abandonment over the years has taken a huge toll on the socio-economic well-being of oil-producing states in the Niger Delta. Hopefully, it will bring a huge sigh of relief to the region if it is eventually completed by the end of next year.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In Nigeria's oil-rich region, reactions have continued to trail a proposed legislation for a repeal of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act 2010. The Nigerian Content Development Commission bill, sponsored by Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, representing Niger North Senatorial District in the Senate, seeks to further strengthen the Nigerian content in all aspects of the economy. However, the move does not go down well with Senator Lee Maeba, who served as Senate Committee Chairman on Petroleum Resources Upstream in the 7th Senate. Senator Maeba, who is the author and brain behind the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act 2010, has rejected its repeal on the grounds that it will shortchange oil and gas host communities in the Niger Delta.
See, it's only in Nigeria we have inconsistency in legislative drafting. Number one, there is a Nigerian Content Board working very well. And I know the day we were doing the third reading of the bill, to make the clause that said that the headquarters of the Nigerian Content Board must be in the oil producing region was a very, very serious debate, because we are used to a culture of everything being in Abuja. Everything being in Abuja. Even when the Vice President said oil companies must move their headquarters to the Niger Delta, they refused, because it's not law. If this one was not law, I'm very sure the headquarters would have been in Abuja. And so when you have a situation where oil is produced at some place, and every level of control is hundreds of miles away, that is part of the problem that is causing the rift between the oil communities and the oil company. Because a genuine complaint a community has, that they would have taken a walk to the company to complain. The company is in Lagos. The company is in Abuja. And so the headquarters of the Nigerian Content Board being in Yenagoa is a product of the first law written by an indigenous senator. The board is serving the whole country. If you go to Lagos, you feel Nigerian content, you see all the company doing logistics, everything. If you go, everywhere you go, Nigerian content is working. So to do a law, to repeal it, to me, is completely out of place. Because no, we should get this thing straight. I look at the bill. The bill wants to cite, to repeal it and call it a commission. We don't need a commission. There is a Steve Orusaya committee to streamline parastatals and commission with overlapping duties in within the federal government. I'm sure you are aware of that. So when you see that on, you want to make another commission in place of a board that is working. The board, as of now, have built a 17-story building that will bring more oil and gas companies to have liaison offices or branch offices in that building. So the building is working. So the bill seeks to destroy something that is working. Out of what I don't know.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In his own reaction, Professor of Economics and Director of the University of Port Harcourt Business School, Professor Oke Onuchukwu, insists that the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act should be fully implemented to benefit largely impoverished oil and gas producing communities in the Niger Delta.
That particular industry is heavily situated in the Niger Delta region. And that's why maybe the office is in Bayelsa. And given that, what we are saying is that majority of the resources you should use in that industry, for production, should come out locally. That's why I keep preaching about this modular refinery. One would have thought that with the Local Content Act, the modular refinery would have come to stay, because you discover that our boys in the creek only use firewood to heat crude oil, the particular temperature that will separate PMS, from diesel, and then Kiro and all that. And we use them to run our cars, run our generators, and they are working. So I was thinking that, given that local content law, what we would have done is to, develop this thing that the boys are doing in the grid properly, so that the technology will be, indigenous, instead of hoping for building very big refineries and gigantic refineries that are not working. So that is my idea of local content. And the law is strictly for oil and gas industry. That does not mean that you cannot, enact another law for maybe mining and some other industry. If you say you want to generalize it, it's like watering the whole thing down. While I look at what Sani is doing as his duty as a legislator, but I disagree with him in that aspect of generalizing the law and making it more comprehensive. It's just being more political.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act 2010 was first introduced on the floor of the Senate in February 2006 to positively affect the lives of oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta and ensure increased local participation in the Nigerian economy. Well, it's on that note we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until same time next week, remember to always wash your hands, keep safe social distance, and maintain proper hygiene to avoid contracting the deadly coronavirus disease. My name is Mamode Akugha. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.